Hey guys. Hey guys. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Hi Suparna.
great to see you. It's been a while since we met
Same
and wrote
here.
together.
Same here. How are things?
All well, all good here. You tell me, how are
Awesome.
things there?
Things are too good. We have a couple of friends, we know, both of us know. Nupur is there. Hi Nupur.
Hi, Nupur. Nice to see you here
Balvinder.
too.
Yeah. Hi Balvinder. Hi
Hi,
Divya.
Balvinder.
And then there's a couple of more guys I can see.
Yeah.
Cool. How are things? Shefali is there. Hi Shefali.
Hey, Shafali. The
Hi Shefali. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. We've been, planning to do this since long time, and then thought
yeah,
let's start. In fact, so I think most of us know Suparna here, and but we will still allow her to introduce and tell us more about what her journey has been so far, and then how things shaping up at Suparna's end. Suparna, please, it's been a while, so I think please let us know your story. Where did
yeah,
you get into biking and all that?
especially after the lockdown, we definitely need to revise and revive our old selves.
Absolutely.
All our lives have seen so much of change during these days. So yeah, I'm basically a small town girl. I grew up in the city
Okay.
of Agra, and since my childhood, I used to be very, very adventurous, trying out new things.
Mm-hmm.
So we all start with cycles. So yes, I was very good on two wheels since the very start. And then when I was introduced to motorcycling in the final year of my college, I was bitten by that, biking bug, as they say. And
Okay.
thereafter, like it's been a decade, more than a decade now, that I've been riding different motorcycles.
Awesome.
And as I started my career in the IT industry, owing to my degree, of course, I'm an engineer by
Okay.
my
I
education.
know that.
And
Engineer
after six and a
biker.
half years, yes, but definitely motorcycling was always very, very close to me, and I wanted to pursue something around bikes only.
Mm-hmm.
So, as they say, that what you seek is seeking you. Back in the year 2016, I got a chance to switch from my career from IT to motorcycling, and
Yeah.
here am I now talking to you. So in the past, I've worked with different bike companies, and my last experience was that I was training people how to ride motorcycles just before the lockdown was announced. So
Awesome.
yes, I've been training different people the art of riding motorcycles. So I have come across and met so many fantastic people on motorcycles that the story can go on and on and on unless you
I
stop me.
know. I know you're.
Different people, different
I've been
journeys.
out there. I know. But what made you bring like what made you go in trading specifically? Because it's a dangerous side of motorcycles, and people like fall, they trip, and then things can go wrong, like in that side.
In every person whom I have trained, I see myself. So before I also had my own motorcycle, I was always struggling to, get a bike and start riding. I used to see other people, and as you know, in India, motorcycling is, I would say, in fact, globally, it's mostly seen as a very manly thing. A
Okay.
girl riding is seen to be very, very bold and very outgoing. I think in the last couple of years, we have seen this change where there are more women stepping out and riding. So I thought that there would be so many people who would want to learn and they don't know where to start from, because we
Absolutely.
do have a lot of car driving schools, but there are not many motorcycle riding schools. In fact, these days we know of some big bike schools which train
Sure.
off-roading and which do the training for super bike riding,
Sure, sure, sure.
uh, mostly in the southern part of India. But
Okay.
for beginners, like I'm that kindergarten teacher who
Yeah,
gets them on the bike and get them rolling. So I got a chance
absolutely.
to associate with an academy in Gurgaon, which has been running since the last 4 years.
Okay.
So I got in touch with them, and they were also looking for a trainer. So I collaborated, and we did the training just before till the lockdown
Awesome.
was announced.
Awesome.
So I
Awesome.
aspire to do the same in the coming times when it's more safer to step out. As of
Yeah.
now, yes, of course, I've been guiding people who have been wanting to ride. They've connected me, and I've been guiding them that how to go about it if they want to begin by themselves. And in the
Okay.
future, when things get better, of course, I'll resume that the
Absolutely.
same work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I think moving on, let's I think stick to our original agenda. Let's make it more like a conversation, and people will join in with their questions later for sure. And we
Yeah,
should talk about, like one thing is very common. What we see today is the responsible riding. People are on the road,
absolutely.
and we've been looking in Gurgaon what is happening since last few days, and making sure that we all of us on roads are responsible in terms of what we are trying to do with two wheels, with terms of safety, the way we ride, the way we follow rules, the gear, and everything else. So,
Yeah,
what's
I
your view
agree
on
with
that?
you. I absolutely agree with you because in India, people the so moment they get a bike, they just zip off. They
Hmm.
hardly adhere to the safety riding etiquettes or the good and the bad, the good practices and what not to do on the
Yeah,
roads. And we mostly these things are to be taught to someone unless they are educated about these rules. How would they do it? Is not to do with the school education. It's something that should be taught to them, okay, because this is to do with your safety, with your life.
yeah, absolutely
If it
agree.
the as basic as wearing a helmet. So most of the people think that I'm going on this particular route and there is no police barricading on checking on this route, so let me skip the helmet. What is to be there? I mean, what harm will it be to me? But they don't realize that we see and hear about so many accidents that happen in day-to-day life. They
I
think
have
that it will not
interesting. Yeah,
happen with me.
absolutely. I have interesting. I think the worst accident I had was less than 100 meters from my house.
I,
I broke my
I
collarbone.
so
I
agree
broke
with
my
you. Yeah.
ribs. I broke a lot of parts on the right side of the body, and it was not even 100 meters from my house. I was wearing all the gear. Still, that happened. And I was saved in some ways. But yes, you're right. It can happen anywhere.
So we should not wait for things to happen to us. Now, let's take the current day example. The moment we realize that there is a deadly virus around us, we all are
Yeah,
wearing our masks, using sanitizers, and washing our hands, and practicing all kind of safety measures, using social distancing, everything. But
absolutely.
we know that if we are not wearing a helmet, we are putting our lives in danger, as well as if we are overspeeding or we are riding or driving recklessly, we put our lives as well as others' life in danger. Still, there would be very few people who would take these measures seriously. So
Yeah,
it's our duty to follow that, because unless we follow ourselves, we can't be preaching it. Especially the youngsters, the kids who see us riding and driving every day.
absolutely, absolutely,
We lead by example, isn't it?
absolutely. I think that's the most critical aspect of riding. That all the gear, all the time. This is very, very
Absolutely.
important. It's not just for the sake of saying it, but it's also for us to believe, because accident can happen anywhere, anytime. Right.
Yeah.
Moving on, I think there are a couple of interesting topics we can discuss about what we happen. And here, Pikaksh is saying, like, 90% of accidents happen 500-meter radius of our own house, and it's so true. I remember
Definitely.
the incident where we had a small accident some time back. But the gear. As soon as you walk out of your house, I think it's important to have the right gear for sure.
Yeah, so I always quote that example of remember when we were growing up, we used to see and very in the early days of Doordarshan,
Hmm.
and uh, there was a very athletic man who would hit it with a hammer. So one of these fruits was covered with a helmet and the other was not. So the one which was covered with the helmet would be safe, and the other one would just burst out. So our head is
Exactly.
similar to
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
the injuries to that happen to the head are the most risky or say fatal. So why
Absolutely.
should we risk that just by wearing helmet and wearing all the gears and keeping yourself safe, following the etiquettes? We can keep ourselves safe. And I want to ride till I'm like 80, 90, or till I can. Why should I lose this beautiful life just for one mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Partha here is asking, to say something about drunk driving, and also I think in our biking community there's some incidences which maybe,
Yeah.
or the people, car drivers drinking and driving and hitting motorcyclists, and the other way around as well. So what is your say on that?
Firstly, I don't drink. Secondly, so there's no chance of mixing the throttle and the bottles. But then
Yeah.
I would not be against people who drink, but you should responsibly either book a cab or take help from a friend to drop you home rather than driving, because you never know that. So why we call an accident, because it happens by accident. We cannot
Yeah.
predict when or where it can happen. Any mishap that happens comes uninvited. So at least we should not be held responsible for it. And personally, even I feel that it's not only to do with riding. A lot of people say that riding is unsafe, but even when you're driving and you are under the effect of alcohol or any such drinks, so
Right.
you're not
Right.
in your complete senses, and you might lose control of the vehicle, and you might face any kind of danger on the road. So the best is
True.
that you avoid taking any such risk again, and
Understand.
take a cab. It's as easy as such.
Yeah, yeah, I think completely agree on that. Moving on, like interesting question we had earlier also that, in terms of the community, people start riding. How do they get into the riding culture? Where should they start? How do they choose the bike? How which bike is for beginners, which bike is for advanced users. So I think there's a lot of confusion around this topic in the industry, and especially in the
Yeah,
brotherhood. People just go by the looks, go and get the bike what they like. It's
yeah.
looking beautiful or good, and then go on the track or wherever they want to go. So how do one choose? What is your opinion on that? And
So, from my experience, I would say that you, one must first and foremost test ride a particular motorcycle before purchasing it. I have
yeah,
personally met a lot of people who would buy a bike, and after a while they would say that, I'm not able to handle it, or it's not my type. I'm planning to switch or upgrade my motorcycle. I would say that there's no harm in keeping more than one if you can. But then, if you're using for primary motorcycle, you should test ride it, see its features. You For every purpose there is a certain motorcycle, and to every motorcycle there is a certain purpose. I mean, these are actually my beginning lines when I just start my training with someone,
so
because
true,
everyone
so
says
true.
that the moment someone comes to train, they would say that I'm very excited to get a bike, which bike I should get. So first you have to decide your purpose. Do you want to go for long rides, or do you want it for your city riding, or just for your daily office commute, or you want to do off-roading or long distance adventure rides, all of that? So these are the factors to be kept before you zero down. Once you zero down, you can definitely check out which are the best models in the market that you
True.
can test ride and then get it. For beginners, I would say you should not be too ambitious to hop onto a big bike, even if you can afford one and get one, because in the beginning you have to get more familiar with the motorcycle, because you'll be going out or by yourself, and at the end of the day you have to own the bike that you ride. If you are abandoned, you should be able to pull it, drag it, turn it, whatsoever, maneuver it, whatever way it is, by yourself. So for you should try to get something which you can easily handle, and then when once you keep riding, you can figure it out various ways, because I've seen short people also riding bigger bikes. So, there are questions which are asked that I'm short,
But that
which
is
bike should I
possible.
ride?
I disagree
Yeah.
there. It's possible to ride
No,
short for short girls or short guys to
yeah.
ride
So,
motorcycles.
yeah, I agree, but then it will definitely require certain experience, because
Yes,
in the beginning,
skill sets.
people develop this fear. So a lot of people would have tried starting to ride by themselves, and once they cannot, or people around them cannot help, then they come. So it is like a kacha paka, half trained, semi
Okay,
trained person coming in. So it is,
okay,
we have to unlearn a lot of things and then learn again. So for me, I would say that try with the easy lighter bike first. Once you understand the basics, the nuances, then you can definitely hop onto any and every motorcycle. I mean, the roads are always open for you. So
absolutely.
yeah, you should always check your comfort on that bike. The seat height, a lot of people who face difficulty with the seat height, these days we have options to customize that as well. So there are
Absolutely.
people who would say that, I want to buy a bike, but my wife also wants to ride it. So, you could also share a motorcycle, and I would say that you'd be very generous if you could get one for yourself and another one for your wife or partner, and sister, anyone, and you both can go for a ride. You don't have to wait for a riding
you,
group or
you think
any
that
other plans.
happens?
Nothing like, yeah.
You think that happens often? Yeah.
Well, I have met people. They say that you train my wife, but she should not touch my motorcycle. I said, why?
Exactly. That's what I'm
Why
saying,
should
because I
that
know
be?
with you and Surya also rides, and you also ride. So there must be this experience from you, which has been there from years.
Yeah, I think that we are very, very biased in our opinions, and I'm saying we, because I'm including myself in that. A lot of times, I should not say that they do and they do. Uh, we think that a certain bike is meant for someone, and being a girl, this is, you can only ride Avenger or a smaller, lighter motorcycle. I think it's not true. I mean, unless a woman or a girl is given access to the bike, how can you judge from earlier, before that girl would not be able to handle
No,
it,
no, no,
or
no. That's the question. I think you're right. The question is not that. The question is a guy sharing his bike with the girl, and the girl sharing the bike with the guy. That's it.
I think that way, yes, everyone is
You
possessive,
keep
but
yours, I
that
keep
is the
mine.
real
That should be the way.
that is the real test, that that would prove your love towards your partner or spouse. Like, whom do you love more, your bike, your machine, or your partner?
Exactly. I think I've seen a lot of couples who ride. They have separate bikes. Of course, you can ride anytime as a pillion, but that they both are riding in different bikes. Okay,
I
I
think
think moving
whatever be
on.
it, like, riding is important and riding safely is important. Rest you guys can figure out. There are no like very strict rules around that.
Absolutely. Uh, Moving on, I think what about solo rides and group rides? Let's talk about a bit, because there's a lot of debate these days. I hear from people like some of them don't like to ride in groups, some of them don't like to ride solo. I know like both have experiences on that and on different levels, but what's your take on that? And I'll tell you mine also in a bit.
Yeah.
There's something
So
very big there.
I think that we all start somewhere as a solo rider, and I personally know a lot of guys or girls who like to ride solo because they do not want to fall into the trap of being in a group and following certain etiquettes and being very rigid with the ride plans. In a solo ride, like when you're riding solo, you choose your direction, you choose your pit stops, and you choose, like, you can make changes, like if you want to ride longer or if you want to just break off in a long ride, it's up to you. But I would say that in groups, though there are certain regulations and restrictions, it's also about communicating with each other through the ride. You don't ever feel that you're all by yourself. You have someone to get on at your back to take care of you, and the same is for you, that you also have you also feel responsible towards them, that there's someone with me and I should not like there are two eyes following me all the time. So that is that. Plus, the it develops a certain camaraderie between the riders. In case you are stuck somewhere, be it your ride or your personal life or your work, I think the brotherhood and amongst the women, as we call as the sisterhood, it's always there. So you can always count
Absolutely.
on them. So we have experienced that also in so many instances in the past, that how riders have stood by each other, be in good times or hard times. And other than that, it's always good to say a hi in between your ride, and on Sundays, or people who ride regularly on weekends, you always look forward to that particular day to ride together. So
Okay.
in a way, I would say that to each his own. Both of these kind of rides have their own plus and I mean, I think it's good to ride, be it in a solo or group. It's good that you step out and uh, step out and start riding. But yes, if you start riding in a group in the beginning, it always helps you with learning more about bikes, the riding culture, what
Yeah.
gears,
Precisely.
how to keep your bike better. If you to keep yourself updated, basically, it's good to meet more and more people, share your stories, learn from their mistakes, share yours, and the story goes on. So I would like to know
Yeah.
your opinion on the same as well.
Group and solo, I have a lot of friends who are riding solo. I have a lot of friends who ride in groups. But on my personal take, of course, I love to ride in groups. Group is something which we really care for, and that camaraderie and that the feeling of being in a cocoon, especially on the long distance ride. It's amazing. There is nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
But I do also like to do ride solo occasionally, and I think I should advise everybody to ride solo once or twice, a year, just to. It gives you time to connect with yourself. It gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to not to hassle with you. Right, as you sadly said, you don't have to stop with when people are like wanted to stop in groups. You can be free. You can stop when you want. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want to stay. All that you don't need admission, permissions, and you don't have to take those decisions together with somebody else. So you are on your own. And I think the most important part to ride in groups is, of course, as I said, is the camaraderie. And what if something goes wrong? If especially sometimes we ride on bigger bikes, when things can go wrong with the bikes on the road. And if you are in a group, you have support there. Of course, people who are riders will also support you, but that's a huge help from riders, who can take care of you, make sure the bike is safe. We can go to a different city and get the help, whatever help
And
is
you
required.
learn
So
the
there,
right etiquettes as well around
yeah,
group riding, the various, uh, you know, uh, uh, as you call them, the etiquettes of following the distance and
and
overtaking from
it
the right,
makes.
all of that you learn.
Absolutely, and I think it makes you safe because in a group, you are like in a cocoon. You have a leader, you have a tail, you have people who guide you. You maintain a distance, you maintain a speed. So even if
Yeah.
somebody, like of course, whoever is leading the group is the most exposed person, exposed rider in the group. He's sharing the risk with everybody, trying to make sure that other people are safe in that group. But other anybody else except the leader, he's in a very safe zone. He knows that if there's a hazard in front, he will be warned with that hazard. If there is something else running into the group, so he'll save us from that. So I think in group,
Yeah.
that all these nuances go away, except the leader. Yes, the leader has to be very very experienced and disciplined in those terms. And we have seen a lot of times, like there were accidents which were literally like we were saved by seconds, because leader saved us. He slows
Yeah.
it down, or he found a cattle, or he just there's some hazard on the road which we could divert from. So interesting. I
Yeah.
think that's what it is.
And
Uh,
a lot of times I would say that it's a combination of both when you're writing in a group, because even when you're riding in a group, it's your own ride. You can connect with yourself as well. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's your motorcycle, you are leading it, and you also have people around you. And again, even when you're riding solo, you are not the only person on the road. There would be definitely others who are strangers. So this is even better that you're riding with your friends or people known to you.
Absolutely. I think maybe sometimes makes sense when, especially on a larger super bike or larger cruiser, there may be chances that the bike, something may go wrong with the bike and all that.
There's a
So
breakdown.
maybe riding
Yeah,
in a group of two or more, it sometimes helps as well. So just in case if something goes wrong with the bike, you have a help, because sometimes these bikes are
absolutely.
so big you can't even pick them yourselves. So that's, I think, a very important skill. So moving on, what about this thing we were discussing early on is, in the whole riding culture in a way. What do you see, like maybe in COVID era, post COVID, how do people, will ride in groups or solo? What is your opinion? What do you think from what we're going through?
I would, so see, the coming times are quite unpredictable and uncertain. We are
Yeah,
seeing, I mean, who would have thought that, in the month of June, we all will be sitting at home rather than, exploring all the Himalayas and the mountains there. So
absolutely.
it's very difficult to predict the behavior, but I would say that people should restrict their groups to smaller groups in the coming times.
Okay.
That we see, so that there is a lesser chance of the COVID spreading amongst them. And definitely keeping yourself safe in these times is more important rather than just stepping out unnecessarily in bigger groups. Uh, Also, I would say that it will be not, the world is not the same that it used to be earlier,
Absolutely. I think a lot of things
right?
have
It is,
already changed.
yeah,
Yeah.
a
A lot
lot
of
of
things are changing as
changes,
we speak. Yeah.
especially the travel industry and automobiles, as we see, has been seeing a decline in the past few months of the COVID spread. But we can definitely hope that the times in the coming days would be better eventually, and people are definitely waiting for this pandemic to get over, to come out and uh, make up for the lost time that they have had. But
Hopefully,
I
yeah.
would, my message and suggestion to everyone would be that please be patient and wait for the time. Just because government has relaxed, you should not just jump out on the roads and play around with your bikes. It's still not very safe outside. And even if it is relaxed, do not forget the safety rules and etiquettes, be it
Absolutely.
on the bike or off the bike, because whenever you are going out, remember that there's someone at home waiting for you. Like I can see the little one behind on the
Yeah,
screen
he's trying to get into the train as
peeping.
well.
Yeah, so we
Good.
must remember that there's someone always waiting on the roads. I do not promote stunting on the roads. Even when I'm training, a lot of people say that, ma'am, you ride a bike, so you must be knowing stunting and all. I know a couple of tricks, but I believe that even if you do that, a lot of people are into it professionally, and I appreciate them. But do it in a closed and controlled arena, not out on the roads without a helmet, because
Never.
uh,
I think never do that.
I actually read news of youngsters, especially college going kids who get a bike newly and they want to show off and flaunt going out on the roads and trying all of that. But it's actually very risky because you never know from where another vehicle could come in, or there's a pedestrian on the road. So
Absolutely.
try and you know get a empty space or stretch of land to practice all of that. And for bikes, I would say, do not try to imitate anyone else. uh, you ride for yourself first, and then for maybe joining a group or others. So ride and get a bike which you would want to have, not because others are fond of it or you want to show off or something. And
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a beautiful world out there. Go out and explore and bring out memories. These days, we have a lot of nice apps where you can share your stories and pictures. In fact, I'm waiting for the Asteride app to also launch.
It
You might
it will
tell
be
us a
out
bit
very soon. Yeah.
about that, Jitesh.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know, guys, whoever joined, some of us know, and some of us don't know what we are trying to do with Asteride, in fact. So it's a platform where, riders can do, as you rightly said, all these rides together. They can, manage these groups together. They can plan rides on single day, multi days, in groups, on solo. They can do all these ride tracking within groups, so people don't have to bother about using different apps for different things, and everything else
Yeah.
gets locked together. There are very exciting things coming up in this space, and we can't wait actually to get out there and show the product to everybody. What we believe in, that the product should be like 10 times better than whatever we are using so far in the market.
Yeah.
So to deliver that experience, it's quite a challenge in India for sure. And we're making sure that whatever delay we had been going on, is worth it. That's what we're building. And
Yeah.
other things, like we have started the beta launch, so that uh, we will like sign on board users. So here my son wants to peep into the screen. So
You can say a quick hi to him as well.
yeah, yeah. I will like introduce him in fact in a second. I in fact promised him to do that, so that's why he's been waiting for that. So all things
Uh,
about Asteride, I think there are a lot of things happening. A lot of things we are trying to bridge the gaps we see in terms of the community, in terms of how you
yeah.
find fellow riders and groups around you. So one question, in fact, which goes back to what we discussed earlier, is the community. So how do you find like the communities? How do you decide on if you want to do group rides, for example? How do you choose whom to ride with, what community? In terms of female riders, you have different communities. So can you share a bit about the female side, and then we can talk about in general how is the scene in India?
Yeah, so as of now, we have two big biker groups for women in India. One is the Vima India. It's actually an international rider group, and the India chapter is Vima India. And my dear friend Anita Krishnan, she is leading it. And another one is Bikerni. Bikerni has been there, I believe, since 2011. I've been introduced to these groups in the past about 2 or 3 years only. I'm a part of Vima India. But I mean, there are a lot of women who are coming out and riding. In fact, the other day I saw in one of these groups that a mother had trained her daughter to ride, a young girl, maybe in
Awesome.
her late teens. And she said that, I mean, these are some lines that go in Hindi that when a Hindi, or I'll just try and put it in English, that when a son fits into the shoes of his father, you know that the son is grown up. So it's the same when a girl starts riding her mother's motorcycle. I really loved these
So
lines.
true.
Plus the video that she shared. So it's definitely good, and in a way, the women riders across the country are getting a platform to connect and know each other. And these days, we have so many social media platforms wherein we can also connect with other female riders. But the thing is that if we put a hashtag biker chick or female biker on Instagram, we'll see loads of pictures loading in. We do not
Absolutely.
actually see girls or women riding every day. So,
Hmm.
firstly, I'm one of those compulsive everyday riders. I mean, except for these critical times,
I know,
you would
even to go across
definitely
the road.
find me.
I know for you to go across the road to Throttle, you use your bike,
Yeah,
which is like
yeah.
less than a kilometer.
Yeah,
I know, I
we have
know
met
you.
so many times post our rides at Throttle. So yes,
Absolutely.
we should bring out that revelation, and we should encourage the women in our homes to step out and start riding. Uh, we should we should like never make it a point that these bikes are just for men. I remember a couple of years back, a few bikes were launched which had the tagline "definitely male" or a macho, or
Yeah.
terms like that. I would say that somewhere it's unfair, right? Because why should we restrict like the bike? When we hop onto the bike, it doesn't ask us that, okay, you show me your card that you're a guy and you're qualified to ride. So I always quote this example that the track where I used to train earlier, in the morning, a maybe 14, 15-year-old boy wearing
Uh-huh.
shorts and chappals or slippers coming in a 100cc motorcycle to, to that temple, no one would question that guy that, do you know how to ride a bike? But we
Exactly.
have been riding bikes for so many years, for 20 years, or we have seen very senior riders also who are women. But whenever we have a chat, we always share these experiences that whenever people see a girl riding a bike, and even for that matter, women driving cars or big XUVs. And my dear friend Vimy, whom I see online here, she rides a gypsy and she is so good at it. She has won so many rallies. So people, when they look at us, they say, "Oh, really? Do you drive that or do you ride that?" I think that that should not actually happen. When we see a
In
boy riding
this,
a bike,
in
it's just
this,
a routine thing. But for
absolutely. I
girls,
think in this world,
it's like some out of the world thing for people
Yeah,
to see us ride.
I think in this like age of equality and when we talk about bikes, we have a lot of groups. As you said, Vima is there and Bikerni is there, who are leading the community, as female riders together. And then globally also there are hundreds of communities. I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
There's Titas,
WRWR. Yeah,
WRWR, like there's a couple of them. Like you have Harley, Ladies of Harley, and other
yeah.
groups which are predominantly like made for female riders. And the idea is to ride together. It doesn't matter what machine, what kind of ride, but it's what matters is you ride. And I think surely the same goes for the I think the co-ed groups in such a way where they're female and male riders riding together. I think that's also picking up in India
On
quite
this, I'd like to add, I believe
fast.
the group Gods had last year announced sometime that for anyone to ride with them, especially if any women rider wants to join their group, they're most welcome, regardless of the bike that they ride. And I saw a couple of pictures. I did not get a chance to ride with them till now, but then I was very happy to see that, like them welcoming, and that is like true encouragement for. All the women riders to step out and start riding and being welcomed by other
Other riders,
riders.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's what you have to lead and show the way there. Like even though doesn't matter what bike you ride, end of the day you ride is what matters.
I
So
also have my own group which I started recently. It's called FIRE, which stands
okay.
for Fiercely Independent Riders en Route.
Oh
So
wow, that's
let's hope
awesome.
that we get a chance to ride together real soon in the coming times.
So
Let's see.
is it a female only group or anybody can
As of
join?
now, I've kept it exclusive. If there are people who are interested, please send me a request and then I'll consider that. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay. I think people
Yeah.
are hearing you, and then I'm sure you'll get a lot of requests on that. Okay, I
Why
think
should
maybe
boys
the
have all the fun?
no, absolutely. Everybody is, should have fun, and especially on the two wheels. I think anybody can have fun as long as they
Oh, it's
follow
so much
the
fun.
gear.
I'm
Yes,
actually dying to get back to my bike. Right now I'm in some other city, but definitely when I'm coming back, I'll just disappear with my bike for the next few hours and then like we'll come back to normal.
I'm sure. So I think just maybe one last topic we should discuss. After we've discussed about COVID, what is like riding to you? What is it means? What has changed like when since you started riding? A lot of people are like having different journeys when they start riding. It changes a lot of things in their lives. So what is it, that story of yours? Let's
Oh
conclude,
God.
and that's a good thing to conclude our call for today.
This question is like striking a few chords on my
It is,
heart
in fact, because
because
and every rider I've heard till today has a different story to tell me. Like it's really comes from heart, and it's really really unique. So, what's yours?
so for me, I would not say like I'm a big shot in biking or something. I'm just an ordinary girl. And I remember, like, I'll start the story from when I did not have a motorcycle of my own. And after I completed my college, I thought that I'll not take financial aid from my father. And whenever my bike is, it will not be a hashtag dad's gift. It will be my own bike. So I started saving money, but I could not save enough staying away from home. And whenever I'll listen to any motorcycle, especially the Royal Enfield or Bullet, which makes that thud kind of a duk duk sound. I'll
Yeah.
skip a beat and I'll just try to figure out where that sound is coming from here and there. I'll just keep looking at it here and there.
Uh-huh.
Then in the night, I used to stay very close to Sector 16, Noida. And in the night, through the D&D, a lot of super bikes would just pass and they'll race and do whatever.
Yeah.
And, I had sleepless nights listening to that sound. And, one fine day, I I saw milkman delivering milk, having milk cans on his bullet, and he was
Okay.
selling milk off. And I was like, gosh,
Wow.
I'm a engineer, and I don't have a bike, and everyone in the world has it. It's so unfair. Then I started looking out, checking, and I actually I had borrowed some money from my friends, and that was the first time I ever did that to get a bike.
Oh
And
wow.
thereon, like my journey on the bike started. So it's actually very special. And I still remember the day when I was getting my bike from Delhi. there was a school bus full of kids, and the moment they saw me crossing them, and I was, my helmet visor was up, and they saw me and they started shouting, "Oh, see, Didi bike chala rahi hai, Didi ko dekho, Didi ko."
I heard that
I,
stories.
yeah, I mean, I can't never forget that. So it felt so dreamy, it felt so film-like, and it was not to show others, but the freedom I experience on the motorcycle, the joy of stepping out in the night without any fear. So I'll be honest, I would not be as confident on a scooty that I am on a
You're
motorcycle.
on a bike.
Plus, whenever I used to come back from work on my bike, the gully children would say that, "Oh, Katrina Didi aa gayi, Katrina Didi aa gayi," and they said, "No, I'm not Katrina, okay?" Because the movie Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara in those days
Yeah.
had just launched, and Katrina was seen on a bullet and that bike. I said, no, I need my own identity. And then I connected the dots like Suparna say super and the biker. Then I came up with the name Super Biker. And thereon the journey started. So I might not post a lot online as others do, but then I have so many stories on the motorcycle. So yes, bike to me means my freedom.
You,
It gives
huh?
me wings with which I can fly on. And it is the only asset I have as of now. I would say that I don't have all big worldly assets. That my bike is, my mobility. It is. It makes me free. And I know
Absolutely. I
that
think that
you have yourself two Royal Enfields and one Indian, and your ride is one of the most beautiful ones. And we
I
also
believe
did a
so.
lot of rides earlier. And
Look,
everyone's
look,
like for that matter, I would say that for everyone, their own ride is very very special, and they have like everyone's first bike is very special to them. So
absolutely.
I would say that you should not, no matter what bike you ride. A lot of people, when I plan a ride, people send their inquiries that I ride a certain CC bike. Will you include me in your group? Especially women. I say, yeah,
Absolutely.
it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to have only a super bike to experience that freedom. Uh,
No, no, and I
it's
think it's a gradual step also. You should not start riding
Yeah.
super bikes also. Like,
Just
you should
start.
gradually.
Yeah, just start somewhere, and then you would yourself find where you belong and what belongs to you
Yeah,
eventually. So
absolutely.
just
And
start. Don't hold back. Don't hold yourself back.
absolutely. In fact, as you rightly said, there's like the way you choose your rides, the way you start riding. I think what it matters is you ride. You have that fire inside you that this is let's go out, let's ride alone with friends, with family members, friends. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and unless you try it, how would you know what it is? And it's something which cannot be actually described in words. It's like simply like love. It cannot be described. It can only be
Absolutely.
experienced.
Absolutely, that's true. And I think you rightly said, like, there are a lot of riders, like, who are not on social media, and that's I think we will do in next few episodes, bring those riders who have, like, lakhs of kilometers of experience and rides, which are not even there on social media, and then,
Yeah,
and how beautiful stories they have to share from their rides. And I think next time we'll talk about more on what happens on these rides. What is that journey
yeah.
when you start, morning in the morning, and maybe especially for the longer distance rides, because those are very powerful, ones which change a lot of things. When you come back, you are a new person altogether, and that
Definitely.
joy
I
in the
mean, when you
freedom
are
of.
sad, you can ride. When you are angry, you can ride and it'll calm you down. When you're happy, you'll ride and you'll become more happier. So that is
Absolutely.
how it is.
Absolutely, and then it changes as soon as you go out of your driveway, or you're on the bike. For a lot of people, it changes. It will just change your
Yeah,
mood, whatever mood you are in. It will make you a happier person for sure. That's
definitely.
that's so true.
And this topic is so close to our hearts, and our lives are interwoven around that we can keep going on and on and on.
Absolutely. In fact,
And
when we're discussing about this talk, and earlier also, like, the change, what I know from a lot of people's stories, that it shifted their lives completely. When they started, like, their journey into motorcycling, they have become something really really different. They've changed their professions. They've changed cities. They've changed the whole, the trajectory of their life to a different direction. And you see
yeah,
me, like, we have just given up everything and started building Asteride just for the love of bikes and for the
bikes,
love of community.
definitely.
we need a tool, we need a place, where bikers belong. It belongs to bikers, and that's what our intention is. So let's hope we deliver on that very quickly. And I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody has questions there to ask you. I'll just wait for maybe a couple of seconds if I don't see any questions for now. But I see a lot of your friends have joined in, and people are saying hi. Anita is
Yeah.
here. Divya is here. Nupur is here. Hey, Nupur.
And
Uh,
one of my favorite young riders, I would say UV is there. He's a great motivation
oh,
uh,
lovely.
to
Hey,
me. I
Yuvi.
mean, he always keep my morale up and post comment on all my posts, and also, yeah, hi, quick
Lovely.
hi.
So we are
And
fans.
nice
Yeah.
to see you, Anita.
Yeah. So
And I see the Rebel Rider.
yeah, Divya is there.
Yeah.
Uh, Divya is there. Then I think Nupur. I saw Nupur also a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nupur had also been there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her comments. She's also doing very good. And I love to see her pictures. She'll just step out whenever the weather is good. She'll just step out on a bike and click nice pictures, especially of GFR, and definitely the food pictures.
Absolutely, and I love that those two. And it's very interesting story how I met Nupur, and we will in fact talk about it. But she is
Yeah,
one of the most active riders, I think, in the community for sure.
definitely. And she's
In full
everywhere.
riding.
She's everywhere. Yeah, this is something we must learn from her. It's so good
Absolutely,
how she manages and she balances her home as well as work life. Very, very
absolutely, and the
interesting.
cooking life as well.
Yeah.
All right. So nice talking to you. I think we should do it again very soon. Let's talk about rides next time. Only the most iconic ones we have done. I know you've been to a lot of places. Let's discuss on that next time. And
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions, otherwise we'll just call it off for today and then join back very, very soon.
Yeah, people have been commenting on the topics that we have covered. I can see that, and they gave their inputs
Yeah,
as well on that.
absolutely. TN73 rider, yeah, it says motivation makes us to ride more. Then when we're talking about, and of course, Nupur also said, yeah, same there. Cool. All right, then, Suparna, we'll talk again for sure very soon.
Yeah, lovely talking to you,
Take
and I
care.
wish Asteride all the very best.
Thank,
And
thank
we
you
are
very
just
much.
waiting
And
for the launch.
let me
Yeah, and
introduce the junior. He says hi.
hey, hi, hi.
Say hi.
Remember we met at Bikers Cafe? Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. So he is the budding biker now.
So
Say,
you
say,
should cycle a lot these days. I mean, whenever you can, and if it's there's a space available around, when you start with cycling and then you grow up to be a biker like your dad. That's my
absolutely.
message
He
for
is
him.
already
Yeah.
on that. He always like tries to go with me whenever I can. Shorter rides for
Yeah.
sure. All right. Thank you so much. See you later. Like talk to you soon.
Thank
See you
you.
guys. Thank you very much for joining
Yeah.
us
Ride
today.
safe and take good care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take
Take
care.
good care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.